Hey there, and welcome to episode number 2 of Hoosier Heroes, brought to you by the Times of Northwest Indiana and NWI.com/podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hasty. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone that Hoosier Heroes is a podcast dedicated to sharing the stories and experiences of Northwest Indiana veterans and first responders. So if you missed episode 1, make sure you go back and give it a listen. Like I said, this is episode number 2, and this week we have a very special guest, Rob Wentz. He's a bit of a jack of all trades, if you will. In this episode, you'll hear all about his time as an Army soldier and how he's been able to apply his experience into law enforcement and firefighting. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Enjoy the show. All right, we're here with this week's guest, Rob Wentz. He's a Lake of Four Seasons firefighter and Army veteran. I know him through the organization I work with, Operation Combat Bike Saver. He's come out to shop days numerous times, helped out with events. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself. So here he is.
Well, my name's Rob Wentz. I did 15 years in the Army. I'm a Lakes of Four Seasons fireman, volunteer. Been on there for 3 years now. Been to Iraq 3 times. I like helping out with numerous veteran organizations that are in the area that I can. I also co-founded a veterans group out of Valparaiso, Prince of Peace Vet Group.
Okay.
It's at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church on the corner of 2 and Division. We work with people with PTSD or moral injury. We also help with the Veterans Affairs Office because we have people that work for the VA that come there. We also have people that go to the Portage Town Council or Mayor's Committee for Veterans Affairs that come out and help us with claims and all that other stuff.
Okay, cool. When did you first enlist in the Army?
I first enlisted at age 18 in 2000, before 9/11 and all that other stuff hit. I knew that if I went to college, I probably wouldn't do so well because I didn't do so well in high school. So I joined the Army, left for basic training in June of 01, and then went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and did basic training, AIT, and permanent duty station there. So 4 years in Oklahoma is not fun. I mean, a lot of cool stuff out there, but it's just not fun.
Since you enlisted before 9/11, I'm assuming that you were probably somewhere either in basic training or AIT.
We were AIT, but we were in class when it happened, and I just remember one of the instructors coming in saying that, the World Towers got hit, and we thought he was joking around because he was a prankster. Come to find out, he was true because there was about an 8-hour wait to get onto Fort Sill. After that, we were pretty much doing some little gate guards and guarding other places on base.
Being a couple weeks into training, did that change training at all?
No, not really, because being multiple launch rockets, we were told that the equipment was too big for the mountain region of Afghanistan. So they were more sending the howitzers, they were more sending the smaller guns instead of the rockets and missiles. So we were more training up to get ready for Iraq. December 2002, we got word that we were getting ready to go to Iraq after all that stuff happened. Within 2 months, we got brand new launchers, brand new equipment, brand new trucks, all that stuff. And then that was pretty much our way of getting told that we were going without being told.
Yeah, the writing was kind of on the wall then.
Yeah.
It seems like for everyone, their first deployment, including myself, was pretty stressful. Do you remember what that was like?
At the time, I was married, so I was in the motor pool for close to 18 hours a day, just getting everything, all the equipment ready, all the trucks ready, getting all the maintenance issues taken care of, doing lots of training in the field. We would go out for 10 days, come back for 3 or 4, and then go right back out. It was lots of scenario-based training to get ready to go over there. We were all pretty much going into it blindly because we didn't really know what was going to happen. every day it seemed like something different was going on. And then when we finally got to Kuwait, it was a total shock and eye-opener for everyone. Most of us joined before 9/11, right beforehand, or joined after 9/11. So, we all knew what we were getting into.
Mm.
But at the same time, none of us has been overseas, out of the country. Some of us, that was maybe our second or third time on an airplane, so it was pretty crazy. Training up to go over there was, intense sometimes. Luckily, we had good leadership in the unit, and, they took care of us, and, some of the old vets, showed us the ways and the ropes. I was there from the beginning in 2003, then I went from 2006 to 2007, and then again in 2008 to 2009.
Okay, and what'd you do out there?
2003, I was multiple launch rockets. We shot rockets and missiles in support of all the ground units. We were attached to 3rd Infantry Division and went from Kuwait all the way up to Tikrit in a matter of 2 months, and then came back down. My unit alone shot over 300 rockets and missiles in combat.
Oh, wow. I was a grunt myself, so I definitely know how important that is to have that kind of support. When were you artillery?
Artillery, I was artillery from 2001 to 2005
Okay.
on active duty Army.
Okay. Yeah, so I have never been to Iraq. My deployments were Afghanistan. What was it like?
Iraq, it was pretty hot, pretty dirty. They tell you to look for trash,
Mm-hmm.
where they plant bombs and everything.
Yep.
Well, the whole country is full of trash, so it's kind of hard to find anything. It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, we had the same problems in Afghanistan. All right, so your artillery. What was your specific job for artillery? Were you?
At that time, I was an ammunition hauler. We drove an 8x8 truck with a trailer that carried 8 rocket pods, rocket or missile pods.
Yeah, so driving was probably part of your everyday job.
Oh, yes. In 2003, when I was driving, I stayed awake for 6 days because we were on the road trying to catch up to our unit with a bunch of different convoys. So we were in convoys with tanks, we were in convoys with Bradleys, we were in convoys with the 88 mics, which are the regular truckers. And it was just pretty much stop and go traffic, pretty much like being on the Dan Ryan, except in a combat zone getting shot at.
And you mentioned the IEDs. We had similar problems in Afghanistan. They had hide IEDs and garbage and all that. From what I understand, the same thing, same tactics in Iraq.
Yes.
Do you have any firsthand experience with that?
I got hit, or my convoy got hit back in 2008. I lost my roommate and his driver to an IED. We were the 4th truck. He was the first one.
What was your mission for that?
We were doing police transition teams. We were helping out the Baghdad area police officers with daily operations, teaching them how to become better police officers, teaching them the American ways of being a police officer compared to what they were used to. We would do a lot of traffic control points. We would do everything from teaching them how to handcuff a suspect to detainee operations, so like their jail cells and how to deal with prisoners and all that stuff. We also provided protection for the Iraqi police compounds that we were at. We had, I think, 4 police stations under our control, and it was everything from regular police officers to traffic police to like SWAT team kind of deal.
Were you a field MP or
Field MP?
You were a field MP.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed your shirt. I was also an MP for my the last 6 months of my contract. I got sent out as a supplement. You were a National Guardist at the time.
Yeah,
right?
we were called combat support MPs.
Okay.
So we weren't garrison. We weren't doing the pulling people over, giving traffic tickets for going 26 in a 25 mile an hour zone.
Yeah, that was me. That was we got on my base out in Hawaii. They took whoever was left that couldn't deploy. Took probably 15, 20 of us. Sent us to the MPs, or we call it PMO. It went through a little academy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Gave us pepper spray, class 1, all that. Got us pistol qual, and then gave us badges and said, "Okay, there you go." And so,
Talk about a quick MUP course.
oh yeah, we I think it was only like a 2-week course, and we liked it. We were mainly gate guards, but being an NCO, I was on the road, so we'd have contests to see how many people we can pull over and give tickets to. The ticket, it was on base, so the tickets didn't mean anything. They weren't, they didn't give anybody points against their driving record. But yeah, it was just shenanigans all day long. Actually, I'm not going to tell that story. I was going to say there's some that I could tell, but I don't know. There's a lot that I probably shouldn't. There was one guy actually Thanksgiving Day. He got drunk with his buddies, and he were on base housing, and we get a call. We get a call from a lieutenant commander or something, and he says some naked dude just ran out of my house. I walk downstairs, and he's in my kitchen eating my food, just butt naked. Runs out. He left his pants. I have his ID. He's Sergeant so-and-so. If you want to come get him, or come get his stuff and track him down, come get him. And I guess what had happened was we finally got a hold of the guy, but what had happened was his buddy lived like a few doors down from him. And so they were drinking, and this guy had too much, and he goes outside to like smoke, and he ends up getting lost, and he ends up walking in, because it's base housing, all the houses look the same. Ends up walking into this lieutenant commander's house, takes all his clothes off, starts eating all his food, and then sure enough, the lieutenant commander hears someone downstairs, comes downstairs, and freaks out. It freaks out the entire family.
He probably had some good food. He was an officer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have very fond memories of being an MP. Not the class 1 OC contamination, though. For those of you who don't know, OC is, I don't remember, it's like Upsalium
capsium.
Yeah, there you go. Pepper spray, basically, but it's military grade pepper spray. I don't remember the specs on it.
Did you have to go through the gauntlet?
Yeah, it was they had like a little circuit course set up, so we got sprayed across the forehead, and then we had to go through and do all that. But I'm assuming being an MP, you had to get that too.
We got pepper sprayed when I was with the garrison unit, getting ready to go back over for my 4th tour, that I got told that I was too irritable and couldn't go on. We got pepper sprayed by a Lake County sheriff's officer that was also deploying with us. We got sprayed. They had us stand there, put our hands behind our back. They sprayed us in the face, got it in the eyes, and then we had to run through, and there was like 4 guys with pads or whatever that we had to tackle through, and then we had to take a suspect down, handcuff them, while our eyes are burning from the pepper spray, and it was not fun, especially with no contacts in, because I'm blind as it is. So I kind of needed someone to push me around and show me where to go.
Yeah. How long did it take for that to wear off?
Probably about 30 minutes for it to wear off. We constantly were pouring water and milk, and for some odd reason, milk actually works when you got pepper spray in the eyes. And
yeah, I think there's different kinds. There's like oil-based and water-based. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what we had. I think the oil-based usually comes right off, or either it might be the other way around. But ours was the opposite then, because it didn't kick in until it had like 8 stations that we had to go through. Mm-hmm. It didn't start kicking in until about the 6th or 7th station, and then it finally kicked in and started burning. But my adrenaline was so high running through this course that it hurt, but I was still kind of focused on what I had to do. It was after the course was done that it was just a complete nightmare. I think it lasted for probably a couple hours, and the instructors, full well knowing that that water wasn't going to do anything for us, they set a hose out there anyway. So we're all like fighting over the hose, squirting our eyes, just screaming bloody murder. We're fighting over the hose, trying to get out of our eyes, and the instructors are just laughing at us because they know that it's not going to do anything. But I distinctly remember that was the first time I ever felt like I wanted to rip my face off. And
did it have the red dye in it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like orange. It was like orange.
Yeah, like an orangish tint to it.
Yeah.
You see people walking around a couple days later with orange stuff still on their face and forehead. One funny story that I got, we were in Kuwait, my 2nd tour back in 2006, and my buddy that was driving with me for the convoy security, named Sergeant Drake, he sat there and he knew I was kind of jumpy. And he goes, "Hey, Wentz, there's kids with small arms on the side of the road." Well, PTSD kicked in. I was thinking kids with weapons, but he really meant they had small arms.
So how did your experience in the Army affect being a firefighter?
It gives you that mindset that, you can go into something and you're ready to go at a moment's notice, especially being volunteer. Whenever our pagers go off, as long as we're home and, we can make it, we try and show up. And that helps too because, being like QRF or Quick Response Force, there's times where you're just laying down in the rack, reading a book, watching TV, and something goes off and you got to react. That's how the firefighting is too. You're sitting at home watching Netflix and hanging out, and the next thing you know, you get a call coming in for residential fire or someone needs help, and you just react and go. Jump in your car, make it to station, jump on the trucks, and then head out. It helps there too because you get in that mindset that anything can happen at a moment's notice.
So, did you become a firefighter while you were still National Guard?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Okay, so there was some overlap then.
Yes, I was working for Lakes of Four Seasons Security, and the fire chief for the fire department also worked security with me. He was one of my afternoon partners, and I told him that if he gets to become chief again, that I will join. Well, a week later, he comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm chief. Here's your application. Sign up. Let's go." And I think that was a push in the right direction that I needed because I thought about signing up numerous times beforehand, but due to deployments or other military obligations, I didn't sign up. Also, some of my classes that I took for the military helps with the fire department too for some of the calls. I was suicide prevention NCO. Then I was also the Army's sexual harassment, assault, rape prevention NCO, or SHARP.
Okay.
Numerous classes on that stuff really helps out with some of the calls, especially in cases of domestic violence, rape, and suicide calls where someone's contemplating suicide, or I know how to talk them down or talk them out of it and get them the help that they need.
So you've got kind of a unique thing going on here. You were an Army veteran, like a Four Seasons
Law enforcement qualified, yeah.
So, and then you were also an MP and a firefighter. So you've kind of got
wide spectrum.
Yeah, very wide spectrum. I know firefighters also, they do a lot of first aid.
Yes, yes.
So, really, first responder, you're kind of a jack of all trades, and you've experienced a little bit of everything. That's really cool. What was your motivation for going into firefighting?
One of my motivations is I like helping people. It seems to me like the more I help people, the more help I get for myself, especially with, being diagnosed with PTSD in 2004. It makes it a lot easier to deal with certain issues because you get that satisfaction that you're helping someone instead of just standing by, being a bystander, watching everything go on.
Yeah, definitely. I can relate to that myself. So how are you doing since 2004 being diagnosed?
Pretty good. I think a lot of it helps with with you guys at Operation Combat Bike Saver, the vet group that I started, the fire department. A lot of it just, boils down to you're helping people so that you can get the help that you need as well. I got more people that I can call up and, the bad times and just, give them a phone call or send them a text message or, whatever. But, it's more people that I got, I guess you could say, in your pocket.
Yeah.
To call or, get some support if you need it.
Yeah, resources.
Yeah, resources. There we go.
Yeah, I can definitely, I can relate to that. Being in OCB or Operation Combat Bike Saver, just, it seems that just staying proactive in general.
It keeps your mind off of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Doing something productive, whether it be school or finding a job that you like or a job that, being military, that's kind of like the military and first responder. That's the bottom line right there. That's kind of the common denominator is that usually people within those careers are people that they're selfless people that just want to help.
Yeah.
So leaving the military or leaving the police force or the fire department. Sometimes you leave that with PTSD or depression or not feeling like you belong anywhere, and that's kind of a.
And that's the thing too, like with the fire department and stuff. I wanted to be somewhere where I felt like I belong. Like, we got the camaraderie like we did in the military, where you can sit there and mess around with your buddies and everything and not feel like they're going to be offended or they're going to get pissed off at you because you call them a name. Well, the military, we call each other names on a daily basis, and it makes it so much easier because we can joke around with everyone. We're not sitting there feeling like we're walking on eggshells because I just call this guy next to me a dummy, and the next minute we're afraid that he's gonna come after me.
My job's like that. There's some people that you can mess around with, and there's some people where you just can't. You can hardly talk to them. And then, so besides mental health, how are you doing?
Physically, I got my aches and pains from joint issues to muscles and all that stuff. Trying to get back into the VA system to get that stuff fixed or taken care of, so I can continue to get better, I guess you could say. So I feel like an actual human being instead of someone that rolls out of bed creaking. And
all right, Rob. So we're gonna end there. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, anytime.
I'd like to thank you all for listening to episode number 2. If you or someone you know would like to come on the show, please visit the Hoosier Heroes Facebook page and send us a message. Also, while you're there, be sure to like us and share us. Again, this is Hoosier Heroes, brought to you by The Times of Northwest Indiana and NWI.com/podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hasty. Be sure to stay tuned for episode number 3. Stay safe, and see you until next time.